is really boring, that's not because of us. Oh, we're good. We're live. Just kidding. Recording in progress.
I love it when you do that,
I do
Ashley. You
too.
start that show.
I know. I
This
can't get
show
over
is
it.
so exciting.
It really is.
Guess where we're at today?
We are at HR Tech in our living room,
gosh.
because remember, we live here.
We live here.
We just announced that.
We just announced that like 20 minutes ago.
We did.
When we weren't recording.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. By the way, we're in a big clear box.
We are. So we're Bubble Boy. We're also repeating everything that we just said.
I know.
So like, hey,
I know.
cut us some slack.
Right. But nobody's paying attention.
No one's
anyway.
paying attention. We're
So
good.
we're-
Yes. Oh, that was bad. Okay.
Anywho.
We're skipping. People couldn't see it.
I know, that's embarrassing.
Lead us in.
All right, let's go. So we were thinking about this topic, Ashley, and we talked about this back and forth about what we were going to talk about today. And finally we said, let's talk about HR Tech.
Yeah. Like, oh, that might be a decent topic for the HR Tech conference.
It would be a great
It
one.
could be interesting.
We're so smart.
We are. We're trying
but-
our best.
But let's dive into what we're actually talking about.
Correct.
And why we picked this as a topic.
Yeah.
You want to get into that for us?
Heck yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Okay. So class, today we are talking about HR Tech. And essentially what we're going to talk about with HR Tech is everything that's absolutely wrong with it. So hey, like pull up a seat. It's going to get real
Oh.
cool and fun.
It's going to get spicy.
But yeah, so I would say we have 3 things that we'll be diving into overall as far as the aspects of HR Tech that have a lot of opportunity for improvement in areas where we as practitioners and we as people who use these products would love to see changes made and a little bit more impact.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that I saw walking around, and it's really poignant to me, and we talk about this all the time, is that HR Tech is not made by HR or
Yeah.
talent people.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating to me because you're trying to solve a problem I don't have, and it drives me insane.
Word. So for me, the hardest part about HR Tech is whenever you're looking at the founders and you're looking at the people who are originating, because every product is a solution to a problem. Like
Right.
every product was created for a Band-Aid. There was something going wrong because you don't fix what's not broken. So you don't need to make a product for things that work. There's already a product for that.
Right.
Yeah. And so essentially what has happened is we have found people who are not in TA, they're not in HR,
Yeah.
not even in the industry, but they work dotted line. They're hiring managers. They're software engineers that needed to do a peer interview. They're these people who interacted with our desk and saw something wrong that wasn't a person problem, but
Right.
a product problem. And so they created a solution, a Band-Aid, and found other organizations that had those problems as well. And I think whenever we do that, we overlook something that's really massive. And what ends up happening is we're creating a lot of Band-Aid products,
Right.
and no one is handling the root cause.
Yeah, but why do you think that is? Why isn't
Oh, I
someone
know.
like stopping the massive train that's happening?
Because the ones that are creating it are the ones who think the only issue is that wound, because
Right.
it's the only issue they know of, because they're not in the industry.
Right, right.
But whenever you get in the industry and you're able to look around, you can see, okay, this problem's related to that problem, and we don't actually need 5 of these products if we handled the root cause right here. So there's actually a lot of times that I, as a practitioner, have issues with tools because they are doing a Band-Aid for what the root cause actually is. And if we were to go to the root cause, not worry about systems and symptoms, but actually worry about what's really happening, we can solve those things. And you can solve it with great tech too, that is interconnected and able to connect with one another to be a multi-solution product and kind of trace a superordinate goal versus just something that fix this one instance that this one individual made it for. And that's what we kind of see. That's why there are so many niche products in HR Tech, is because there's so many one-off solutions or one-off needs that someone was like, if they need it, someone else will need it. And other people do need it. Why? Because we have these root causes everywhere, because people are people are people. And we're
Yeah,
always
right.
going to have the same people problems.
You know what's funny to me? I've been advisors to these type of products, so
Yeah.
they're getting advised by
Yeah.
somebody,
Sure.
right? And somebody's sitting there saying, "Oh yeah, if you solve that one thing for me, right, it'll solve all my problems."
Yeah.
So like, how do we get around, really the issue of being more, I guess, holistic about this process, and stop focusing on like that one thing.
It's a really good question, and I'll use two examples. So one, if we think of Greenhouse uses practitioner like liaisons
Oh, that's right.
to
They do.
advisors, right?
Yeah, I heard that.
But Ashby doesn't. They strictly use their customer base and then their internal people that work there, basically. And it's actually really interesting because the group that has liaisons, in some essence, I actually am surprised in the decisions that they make, if I'm being quite candid.
Really?
Yeah. No. So you ask this question, which is an excellent question, and I'm going to lead us on a dead end, which I don't think I've ever done before. But the truth is sometimes I think it depends on your network. I think it depends on your advisor, because you could have an advisor who's solid to you, but they're giving you bad industry advice.
Exactly.
So it's really in the quality of your advisors at that point. So then the product is left to the quality of your network versus just you. So it expands it a little, but not enough. And oddly enough, the parameters that Ashby's put in place actually create something to where there is this 360 cohesive check to where they're not only going to liaisons, but they're going to like 15 different data points to build out how we should do this. And it sounds weird, but again, I've found in working in all of these products, working with different teams, their products usually tend to meet the need of my mark before the other ones. And I don't know if it's because of customer base persona. I don't know what that is. But there is something to be said that, there is a path and a way to integrate HR into your product if you're wanting to hop into the industry and make a Band-Aid, make a tech, anything. But the way you do it does matter. I can say that for sure, but I don't know which way is the best way, I think is the second part I want to say.
To me, it's a very interesting dilemma.
Yeah.
It's like, which way do you go and what is more effective?
Yeah.
I would love to dive into that data.
I know.
Sometime.
Yeah.
Like, if it probably does not exist.
Well, even think about the identification. So many fake applicants. Greenhouse is coming out with Clear ID.
Yes.
Very interesting choice, I think, using biometric data.
I don't know if we'd use the word interesting if we
for,
weren't at
for
HR
the sake that we're like right in front of them. We're going to use the word. We're going to use the word. This is so interesting. It's zest, girl. It's so interesting. But essentially, it has been interesting to see just the changes and what people have chosen. Yeah.
But this Clear thing brings up another thing.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. My bad.
No,
so they did Clear.
Yeah.
Ashby did, they just rolled out like 5 different items that do checks. So it's like your IP address.
I just saw this the other day on LinkedIn.
They literally, the CEO just rolled it out. And so whenever you look at those rollouts, and then we look at, Greenhouse has advisors, Ashby does not. And it's actually really interesting to see where they landed. Because one's very enterprise focused, right? Clear is very an enterprise focused attempt. However, Clear would be like the very first time we have a true overreach into application.
God, it's scary.
It really is, especially if not contained, because that is a entity. So anyway, that's a different topic for a different day. We're here for HR tech, but this is the issue. Whenever you come into HR and you don't know HR law, this is the issue. Whenever you join the industry and you're making products,
compliance.
Yeah, and you don't
compliance.
Correct, because half the time people in HR make products, we can't even use them.
I know,
because they allow you to do certain searches or certain things. We can't.
I've been walking this floor all day, and I'm going to tell you, some of these AI products out here are scary, and I cannot imagine they're
Did
compliant.
you see the one with like the hologram?
Yes.
I was like, please stop. Like, this is my greeter. I'm not gonna. Okay, so like some things are so dope just
they
because
are very
they can
cool,
be. Yeah,
but if I went
scary.
into the back end of them, you're gonna tell me all this stuff is compliant. I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, you can make my hologram and I'll sign away my compliance, all my whatever I own. But yeah.
But this brings into another thing that I think we always talk about, and me and you talk about this because it's always a focus of our show, is kind of the mitigating bias and all of these things. And HR tech is interesting to me because some have tried to do it.
Yeah.
And some do it so poorly.
Oh no, I think some. But here's the thing. So again, because of compliance, HR does things real weird sometimes.
Right.
And in one of those, I think, is AI. And AI for, again, people who are outside of the HR box coming in, they're like, we could use this for so many solutions. Like, they're a solution-oriented person is usually the founder of an HR tech, like genuinely and truly. But because they don't, again, they're creating products that like either can't be used or can't be used in that functionality. and just so many different things. But one thing that I've noticed in the AI is because they don't know compliance, it's almost like they're leaning into the bias. It's
Which is
almost like
so
they're producing
interesting.
it.
So weird. Like, why?
Because it happens when you don't know. Whenever you, it's like me going to be a dentist. I
Right.
don't know. I've had my teeth cleaned. I know what they do. Just like y'all have hired a job, you know what we do, but not the ins and outs. And I would never assume I could pop into someone's mouth and
Oh
start
my
doing
God.
some dental work. But in HR, we allow that. Like that is a thing. So again, there are ways to do it. Clearly, we're at a conference where tons
Sure.
of people have properly executed it. But I will say that the way that it's executed, that stuff matters. It matters because you're dealing with employment. It matters because you're dealing with citizens.
Yeah.
And because we're the gatekeepers of the economy. Like, all that stuff matters.
It does matter. Anywho.
Anywho.
So, as we were talking about bias and all these other things, I do think the cost and the amount that people are putting into these is astonishing to me.
Yeah.
When I look at these displays and everything, I'm like, this is big money in this room.
To anyone that's actually listening to us, which I think is only 2 people, and Petito, thanks so much. Do y'all know that they have to lay their own carpet, like, on this floor?
Yeah.
Like, they have to do their own
Wild.
little thing.
Wild.
Like, okay.
Wild.
I have like fear of heights, so I'm not going up there. I'm not too good at carpeting.
It's really interesting to me how much money they put into these
to the
tags.
adverts, because it's worth it.
I know.
Because companies will do anything for a quick fix and a Band-Aid, and HR tech is that spot. And there's nothing wrong with that, so long as
Right.
we go about it the right way. And as we were talking, we've seen products that have evolved over years and have 2 different paths. And you know
what I was thinking when we were talking about this before, and I was thinking about the amount of women who actually own or founded these companies. Like,
listen,
how many are there really?
Check it.
Oh, wait, you have stats. Of course you do. For everybody who's never listened to this show, Ashley always has the data.
Ashley does have the data.
Yeah.
Ashley's a really bad nerd, so
Yeah.
you're just going to have to forgive her and love her for who she is,
Yeah,
because
that's
it is
awesome.
what it is.
That's
But,
awesome.
okay, so check this out. America has 51% females, which whenever we're thinking about census data, there's only 2 options. So you can, 51% doesn't sound like a lot, but
Right.
any little percent over 50 is a lot. So, like, we're the majority population. You look into HR as a whole, and I believe it's around 89% female. Like, if you're
Wow.
looking at holistic, and somewhere in the high 80s, right?
Yeah.
And then you look at HR tech. So these are equity owners. These are people who are profiting in our industry. They are the ones making bank. They are the ones setting the tone, setting the rules, making the compliance products. 2% female.
This is the thing, though. This goes back to equity and investments and
Because women
private
could only even
equity
start businesses
and-
in the
right.
1970s.
I know,
Like,
I
so
know.
I mean, you
well,
have to
I
know
know that's
history.
to be true, but I'm saying even now, like, we're still at a place that these private equity companies, I could come up with the same idea that Greenhouse came up with, and they'd be like, meh.
Well, yeah, because and they found themselves in the market. And
Right.
They put themselves there. And I will say opportunity, I think, has a lot more to do with that data
Sure, I
point.
agree.
Because, again, how do you get business funding when you
Right.
legally can't? And
Right.
and some of these one of those companies that we shook their hand with, they said they've been here 60 years. They can retire. They get free pancakes at IHOP. That's how old that company is.
Yeah.
Like, that's redonk. So whenever we're thinking about, like, wow, why aren't there very many women in this space? There's a lot of, like, structural bias issues that actually
Yeah.
create that. And then once we get past the bias of the actual, like, can women legally own their own business and get a business loan, we then get into, okay, what is the actual possibility of a woman who has kids, has
Right.
whatever, to be able to stop what they're doing and say, let me invest whatever it is that I own and have into creating a dream of my own, a product of my own, and releasing it.
This is funny because I think this is what Gen Z is saying. They're like, listen,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do the kid thing. I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna do my own thing. And maybe we'll see this evolve and in the coming years at this conference. I mean, I hope that to be true.
I do too.
Because it's really sad out here.
It
folks.
is.
It's really sad out here. Amount of women that have nothing to do with any of these companies.
Yeah, but we're the buyers.
Oh, we're definitely the buyers.
We're definitely giving the monies.
We are
are all in the
definitely-
HR.
We are giving all the HR monies their way, and we should really think about that when we're doing it, right?
Yeah.
I think we talk about this on the show a lot. Is think about how you control the generational wealth gap and all of these other things, but also think about how you control industry and
Word.
right.
Because and to me, that's the biggest thing is whenever we're talking about, because every recruiter is an economic gatekeeper, whether they want to be or not, they are. Like that's the point. That's the whole kit and caboodle. But whenever we're thinking of an industry as a whole, of what gets to make money, what gets equity, what gets attention,
right?
What is going, like we look around here, and we were talking about it earlier, so surprised how many like employee recognition tools.
I was really surprised too. And mental health, by the way.
So, and here's what I see within HR tech as well, is kind of this delay wave of like, employee recognition was a big deal, and so was healthcare in 2020 because we had that.
It was.
And we had to recognize people because we were all working from home, and we needed structures to be able to do that. And so now you see a wave of pretty much everything that was in the past year or two. Now those products have been created, evolved, and on the market, and they're able to be here now. So that's another thing, is if someone from true HR ever went to really make their own product, holy crap, because one, they would already know what's coming down the pipe, like
absolutely
ages
they would,
before.
Right?
Yeah. And then not only that, they would know their shit.
That's why I say, people, listen, if you're a recruiter or you're in HR, go out there and build something. You know what the problems are.
I know.
Go out there, build something, get some funding, do your thing, because these tech solutions that we're looking at right now, I don't want to say they're all trash.
No, that's right. You can't say that here.
I know. I'm just saying. There's a lot. No one's listening.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Who do you think is listening?
Our moms. Hey,
okay.
Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Petito. And 2 other moms. Maybe. Oh, one mom. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a whole thing.
We're here.
It's a whole thing. We're doing the big thing in the big clear box.
We're
folks,
in the big clear box.
Looking like zoo animals.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're too worried about it.
Nah, I'm good.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they're all trash. I'm saying that it could be better tech out here.
100%.
100%.
It doesn't have to be
from
Band-Aids.
somebody from the inside.
Yes.
You know, and we've talked about building our own thing sometime. We're like, we should just go out there and build something.
2025, we're in the box.
Right.
2026, we're going to be out there with my little wrecked platform. And if anyone steals that name, I'll sue them. This is copywritten, by the way. Yeah, copywritten, recorded live. But yeah, I will definitely say that our whole industry is shaped by the technology that drives it, because that is where the sales happen. That is where transactions happen. That is where the economy lives for HR. And so, again, whenever we're thinking about drivers, this is one. Going back to the Ashby and Greenhouse scenario, thinking about the ID, like that is going to change the way we do applications forever.
Yes.
And if there are people who, thinking of the Greenhouse apply path, and can't register and clear because they don't match their dead name, or because they're on a visa and it may not recognize it all the way, or maybe they have a much more intricate name that is just harder to recognize. I myself was pulled over for 10 minutes by TSA today. So
you got by your smile though, and that's
that was so weird.
That's a winner.
But the thing is like the way you apply for a job, again, because of the way the ATSs are shaping it, it will never ever be the same again.
Yeah.
And that's something that we as a society have to live with. And so whenever you're thinking of the decisions these people are making, they flippin' matter. Like they impact everyone.
Matter. I mean, we have some of an age gap, but I remember when recruiting was on note cards, girl.
I remember when recruiting was a handshake.
I remember when it's a handshake over a coffee table. I do remember those days. And when ATSs and all that stuff started coming along, I was like, it shook my mind. Blew my mind. I was super excited. So I think we're in that next phase of what could happen and potentially cause a lot of damage as well. And it's so interesting to see. This has been kind of eye-opening for me in a way. Yeah. It's, but what else aren't we thinking about, Ashley?
As far as HR tech?
Yeah.
Oh, so much.
So much.
For one, HR tech is interesting just because they are the rise and fall, I feel, of startups as well.
Ooh.
So that's something else that's interesting. I'm very curious to see how many tech companies have come to this conference that last year that aren't here this year, and then this year who won't be here next year. And it's because whenever you have a Band-Aid and 15 people go to make the Band-Aid, only the best Band-Aid wins.
Right.
So whenever you think of things like that, it's very interesting, because I've gone to tech conferences all the time, and I've seen some companies that I thought were the coolest things, never seen them again. But again, it's because sometimes you find a Band-Aid that's perfect, but it only fits for
One
whatever.
thing.
Yeah. So I do think that the turnover of HR tech, like the companies in general, it's a different type of life cycle than it is whenever you're working. So like UKG is going to be very, very different than, what is this, remote, Tabio. So like just name recognition.
Total
right off the
difference.
bat. But like I remember whenever Deal came out. I remember whenever Greenhouse came out.
I remember when Deal came out.
But
that was cool.
other tools came out around them as well, and they
Right.
are not here, and it's because that was the better Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing. These are the products of the Band-Aids, and which one's going to be the best.
It's such a weird market, and for those of you as recruiters who have not worked in startups, startups are an interesting world and crazy and fast, and you're constantly working and moving at a rapid pace. And I think, to put all that work in and then have it fail, and you don't get to come back to this next year is it's like, wow.
But that's the dream, right?
Yeah,
like
it is
that's
the dream.
they're chasing it. So
Yeah.
One, if they are someone who came in here and failed, like first of all, to hell with that. At least you came.
Right.
Like
True.
half of it, I'm sitting here talking about 97% of the women in HR who don't get to do that. But I think the difference is once you get the opportunity, how is it harnessed? Because again, that's what we see different whenever we're looking at Ashby, Greenhouse. Like, do they give reverence to the industry, or do they just say, I know what's best because I need to fix a solution? And that's where I say the make or break of these companies actually lives, is because I have worked with a ton of companies that have wanted to start their individuals who have wanted to build their own ATS, built out a product, done things, helped them as just like a dotted line liaison whenever they needed it. And then halfway through, it's just like it falls off. And a lot of the reason why is, one, there was either a better Band-Aid, or two, it was, sorry, hold on, Pedito.
Do you know this isn't going to be edited, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
But every once in a while, I lose the caboose.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes. True story.
I know. You think these people can hear us?
Yes, they can.
Okay. Well, I'm still going. But yes, I will say that the life cycle of the businesses is shorter.
We're doing great today, guys.
We're trying our best.
We are trying.
As long
our
as we're
best.
keeping y'all entertained. Look at these people. They're like hooping and hollering. Literally, Drake just showed up.
Nobody,
I'm pretty sure Kendrick is
nobody
at the
cares.
door.
Nobody cares. Nope.
Kim Kardashian
Not
is on my
happening.
left.
She's dreaming.
One person looked.
She's dreaming.
See, this is the benefit of
She's
recording
dreaming.
live.
This is
We
the
have an
benefit?
audience. Yeah, you never have an interactive audience with a podcast. You're my only audience member.
You shouldn't be having an interactive audience. You should be having a podcast.
Yeah, I know. That's what we're recording for. I'm in the move, I'm letting it be live.
Yeah.
Living in the life.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm trying.
That's great.
Okay, talk to me more about HR Tech, because
Yeah.
we're talking about all the fall and rise of the organizations. We're talking about every doom and gloom. Should we talk more about
Yeah,
good
let's
things
talk
about
about the
HR
positive.
Tech?
Let's talk
talk
about
about some posi.
Yeah, because I would like to talk about that, because I do believe it's changed how recruiting works and how
100%.
HR works, and how we function a little better and able to keep track of things a little better, and have documentation better, right? Because documentation is key, especially in HR. And so I think there is some positives. What do you think are the positives?
Yeah, so I would definitely say the positive, HR Tech is the sole innovative space for, like, that's where all the R&D of, like, what do you want to do? Not, because essentially, whenever you're in HR, you only have two things you can have. You can have people, well, three, people, process, and product. So those are your three levers of, like, which one of these is in the wrong. And so whenever it is that you're looking at product and we're looking at things that they do right, I mean, they are helping us solve a problem. They are, even if it's just the Band-Aid, it is Band-Aiding. So, like, that's number one. Number two is whenever we think of HR as a handshake or getting the paper applications and stuff like that, HR Tech is what has moved that. Because ideally, as far as we go, we have to be regulated within compliance and things like that. And that's a slow-moving legislative process. So everyone's very slow with their technology as well. But I will say that HR Tech is an industry, again, those people leaning into the biases because they don't know any better. Sometimes people are like at a 10-10, like running as fast as they can. And in that, I think that some of the good things that occur are going to be things that help us do those 3 lever pieces.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, as much as we can sit here and kind of badmouth the whole
Yeah.
industry, I want to be very clear that this industry should exist for a
Definitely.
reason. I just want to see more responsibility to the people they serve. If that
Yes.
sounds a little like a little lofty, but
No.
you know what I mean.
I agree completely. I think that, I think the difference, even between the HR tech companies that last and don't, is
Yeah.
reverence. It's reverence
Right.
for the space.
Right.
Do you give respect to it? Do you understand the compliance? Are you taking time to just understand it? I think that that's the difference. And I genuinely, again, I think whenever that's an intrinsic valuation of the organization and the product as a whole, you see the difference on the floor. Like
Yeah.
you see who makes it and who doesn't. And that's something that I think is important. But I think the ability for the innovation space, like in general, without it, we would be very, very stagnant. So like
Yeah.
we have HR tech to thank for a lot of things, but because we want to thank it, because we love it and the space that it's in, we want it to be better.
You know, because this is obviously a show for recruiters,
Yeah.
I want to talk about, the responsibility of recruiters to be kind of front of line in understanding tech and new tech and what's
Yeah.
coming. I mean, we're in the world of AI. It's a whole other show, folks. We're not gonna do that one, but I do think there's a responsibility recruiters have as a subject matter expert or whatever, and when they sit in these organizations, to be kind of knowledgeable of what is happening in the world of tech, what is compliant,
Yeah.
what is, and I can tell you, I bet maybe 25% of recruiters even know what's compliant in
No.
their technology. They're like, oh, we're getting a new ATS.
Mhm.
Whew, we're
Yeah.
gonna put it in. And they get super excited and they don't think about all the other ramifications of putting that product into their organization.
Oh, 100%. So to be honest, remember the 3 levers:
Yes.
people, process, product. To me, product comes last.
Yeah.
If your people aren't knowledgeable about the compliance and the job piece and everything like that, forget teaching them the process, forget buying them a new product. That foundation of people is your problem. If your people are good, then if something's faulty, then that could be your process, and that's your next step to look at. And then if both of those are good and we have a great process, great things, but we still have gaps, now we get a product to fix it. And so those are kind of my 3 checklist piece. But I will say that the people piece is really, again, whenever I'm talking about root cause all
Right.
this time, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that we start and stop at the product. We don't ever really get into the process and get root cause analysis, and we don't get into the people and get into their performance and root cause analysis. And that's
Yeah, I
different
mean,
pieces.
and this is what I think is some of the failure of TA leadership
It
too,
is.
right?
It is.
Like, I mean, we're just not training and doing development
Correct.
in a correct order. We're not doing it at all
Yeah.
most of the time, much less correctly.
Yeah.
Right.
I pray that TA enablement becomes, like, even if it's
Yeah.
our company, like,
Right.
out there, because that's what I do. I work for a Fortune 200 company. I see over 150 recruiters' performance, and I manage performance outcomes for all
Right.
of them. And the enablement of how you train a recruiter, because there is no recruiter university, except for this company called Talent Ed.
Ooh,
Recruiter
who's
University.
that?
Yeah, that's interesting. Someone should look into Talent Ed, Recruiter University. But no. So what I will say is, because of that, a lot of times all these products and all this expensive stuff, half of it was created because they couldn't get their people stuff in order.
Right.
Like, that's just, I mean, you could have saved billions.
This is my thing. Like, it just solved the people problem.
They don't- it's
Stop
people,
building
process, yeah.
more tech.
I mean, but there's nothing wrong with more tech. Because
I want to go back and just reiterate that I
Yeah.
think tech is beautiful.
Yeah.
I use a ton of it all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
But I do think that as TA leaders, we need to do better at
Absolutely.
the people part.
Oh,
We are
100%.
missing the boat.
Agreed.
folks.
Agreed. If anyone takes anything from this very long, random, live, and intricate podcast, I hope it's that if you care about HR tech at all, make sure it's not a symptom that you're
Right.
buying it for. Make sure that it's the root cause. And first thing to look at is people and process. Stop looking at products first. I know that sounds really crummy at an HR tech conference.
Well, no, I think you can still buy the product.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Buy
You
it
just
all the
need to make
time.
sure- Right.
But as an
please
HR
buy it.
professional, do your job first, you know?
Right, but do your job in the beginning and focus on your people.
Yeah.
It's one of, this is like one of my hot buttons.
I know.
I cannot get off of this without saying, like,
Yeah.
it makes me very angry when we don't focus on the people part.
Yeah.
Because then none of the rest matters.
Yeah.
We can talk about candidate experience. We can talk about all these other things. We can talk about
But
that
if
for
they're
days.
asking me illegal questions,
Right.
that's a bare minimum. I need them to do the bare minimum.
I have heard
compliance.
some crazy stuff
Oh,
lately.
same,
So
same.
yeah, and in my career, but that's because someone didn't even know any better.
Yeah.
Because we haven't taught them to be any better.
Yeah.
Right. And so you can't put a product in like these AI interviewing things
Yeah.
and say, let's run with it just because it's going to save us time and
Yeah.
for productivity purposes.
Yeah.
If you haven't solved the people who actually have to operate the thing, much less know if it's compliant.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
And then on top of that, AI interviews, you could be automating bias. And so you may have a recruiter that doesn't even understand that. So now you have a biased recruiter who's automating their bias. And now it's just like a triple threat of all these mistakes. And
It's
so,
just a mess.
again, products are excellent. They're great.
Yeah.
First, check your people, your process. Then
love
let's
it.
add some product.
I love it.
Yeah, I
I
would
love it.
definitely say that those are the important pieces. But the other thing that I would say, as we were talking about HR tech and like innovation in general, is just because of the lack of diversity in this space,
Yeah. Whew.
like we're innovative, but not as innovative as we could be.
Oh, I mean.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean. And you know what's weird? The lack of diversity is from HR. HR is
Exactly.
not, they're not in their own industry.
Right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Not funny.
No, not funny. It's sad.
Not funny. It's
But
sad.
this is why they let, like Joey B be the speaker of whatever conference.
Oh my gosh,
They
whatever
don't take us
conference.
seriously. Matthew McConaughey or whomever, you know?
They just do not take
They
it
don't. But if you went to a surgeon conference and they gave me, I don't know, Amy Poehler, I'd be like, what
is
that?
happening?
Exactly. But HR is like, yeah. So like our standards are a little,
They're a little
we're a
wonk-wonk.
little, we like to have fun, but it's like,
It's a little too much
it's
fun.
like we've really, talent enablement, I really hope becomes the next big
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, we would love to see it. I'm sure we're going to do a show about it, about what
Oh,
that
yeah.
really means, because I don't even think people really
No,
understand
it's my whole
it.
heart and bag.
I know it is.
Yeah.
I know it is. But I don't think that people truly understand what that means. And I would love to. I thought I would see more products here on the floor.
I did too.
And I did not this time. And like you said earlier, I would love to see more of it in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love, because again, that is an actual product that solves the root cause.
Right. Here we go again. Back to the root cause. folks.
So if we can make a root cause product, I think that would be pretty solid. If anyone's taking tips, making notes,
Nobody's
just give me my 10%. Okay.
Nobody's
They're like,
taking
no, we're not doing that.
No, let's do that.
But yeah, so I definitely think that the lack of innovation the lack of diversity impacts the innovation
Yeah.
of these tools in a weird way, because it's almost like we lack the diversity of the industry.
I know, it's so bizarre though. It's like a circle
But I
of
think
nonsense,
because
though,
they
right?
came out of nowhere is how we get the innovation
Yeah.
too.
Right.
Like a different innovation though. It's not innovative within HR, it's innovative within tech, it's innovative within AI, it's innovative within how we do our recognition and L&D and like these other areas. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, usually at this time we do talent outside the box.
Oh,
but
snap.
are you ready to do that one today?
I don't know.
Well, let's just do a wrap up.
Let's do a wrap.
Let's do a wrap up. Let's talk about, well, you don't like my wrap up?
No, you were like, let's talk about it. I was like, oh no.
What I'm saying, let's talk about, what we think our overall feeling was about what we saw today and,
Yeah.
how it impacts the world of recruiting in TA right now.
As I'm looking out in the room, I think this is the only thing that I could say. If your company is investing this much in a setup and this much to sell a product, which obviously, I mean, that's what the companies do, right?
Yeah.
But I hope that they're investing that much in you too. Because to me,
Ooh,
again, root cause, I can't say it enough. I
Yeah.
cannot say it enough. So many tools do not cover the root cause.
yeah.
That if your company is intrinsically taking care of you as well as they're taking care of this booth and these lights and all this schnazzy stuff, then okay, exist, please.
I think for me, it's like, it may be cool and flashy, right? But please do your homework and your
Yeah.
research and your figure out what's right and what's wrong and like really dig into some of this stuff. It
Yeah.
seems super cool. The hologram guy
Yeah.
was super cool.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it was, by
I
the
don't.
way.
Was he interviewing us, giving us cookies? Like we don't know.
We
Yeah.
don't know, but I think that, to do some deep research before you put these products in place is going to be key as we move into the world of AI deeper and deeper. Folks, we are at the beginning of this story.
Yeah.
It's
And it's
going to
gonna-
get wild.
And fast.
And fast.
So fast.
So fast.
Yeah.
Well, Ashley, this was fun. sitting
Was
in a
it?
box
Are we
with you.
already? Oh
Yeah.
my God. Hey, we have 4 minutes. We don't need to cut it short. Like,
Yeah,
let the
we
people
do.
listen to us. Oh my
Nobody
God.
cares.
Have you heard this voice? Like, no, I'm just kidding.
Actually, no one actually.
No one's heard it, to be honest. That's actually why it's hilarious, because this is a great box. No one can hear us.
I think you just like to hear yourself talk.
Sometimes, yeah. I think maybe I should start a podcast.
Oh, you should do that.
Okay, I'll
should
write that
work
down.
on that.
I'm gonna. You know what? This just grew my testimony. I'm gonna jot that down.
Folks, I want to thank you for joining us on another great episode of the Talentless podcast. You know where to find us.
Do they?
Do that. Yeah, sure.
If they scan my badge, they'll get my home address. So you
Oh my
really do know where to
gosh.
find us. It's a little ridiculous. HR Tech, if you could fix that, if you could get your tech team on that, that'd be cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Goodbye, folks.
Bye. Thanks for having us.